अस्सलाम वालेकुम डियर स्टूडेंट्स। हम टिश्यूज़ पढ़ रहे थे। इससे पहले सबसे पहले हमने कंप्लीट किया था एपिथेलियल टिश्यू। उसके बाद वी कंप्लीट द कनेक्टिव टिश्यू। लेटर ऑन वी कंप्लीटेड द नर्वस टिश्यू। नाउ द लास्ट टाइप ऑफ द टिश्यू दैट इज द मस्कुलर टिश्यू। तो जो मस्कुलर टिश्यू है इज द टिश्यू विच कंसिस्ट्स ऑफ द elongated cells. Those cells have been termed as myocytes. तो फॉर एग्जाम्पल यह सेल तो ये जो यहाँ पे सेल्स है उनको हम कहते हैं मायोसाइट्स। और ये जो मायोसाइट्स है दिस आर elongated cells either spindle in shape or cylindrical in shape. चूंकि ये सेल्स आसन elongated in their size, that is why the myocytes or the muscle cells of the muscular tissue has also been termed as muscle fibers. क्योंकि these are the thread-like structures, elongated and thread-like structures. That is why they have been termed as muscle fibers. And in this tissue, in this case of muscular tissue, the matrix is absent. Whereas the cells are adhered or these are connected together by means of the connective tissue. That means यहाँ पे matrix absent है, but connective tissue present है in between the adjacent cells. और यहाँ पे जो cells है, these are the elongated and thread-like structures. That is why they have been termed as myocytes or the muscle fibers. Now, ये जो muscular tissue है, या ये जो muscle cells है, या muscle fibers है, this shows the power of contraction. Means ये contract भी होते हैं और relax भी होते हैं. That means they show the contraction and relaxation, just like a spring. अगर स्प्रिंग कंप्रेस करो वो कंट्रैक्ट हो जाता है, अगर इस तुलत हो वो रिलैक्स हो जाता है. उसी को हम कहते हैं कंट्रैक्शन एंड रिलैक्सेशन. एंड ड्यूरिंग द कंट्रैक्शन द सेल शबस क्या इट थिकनेस एज वेल एज इट शॉर्टनेस इन लेंथ, व्हाइल एज ड्यूरिंग द relaxation it regains its original shape, just like the spring of a bicycle or this scooty. Now अब जो ये contraction है, the power of contraction in case of the myocytes or the muscle fibers is because of the some contractile filaments. और यहाँ पे जो contractile filaments है, these are the proteinaceous filaments and these are actin and myosin. As in the case of this cell, ये है यहाँ पे actin myofilament और यहाँ पे बीच में है myosin filament. और यही filaments during the contraction they overlaps with each other. Means for example, if these are the actin cells myofilaments or these are myosin filaments, they slide upon each other. Means during contraction they slides over each other. और ये जब ये slide करते हैं within the cell, that means the length of the whole cell shortens. उसी को हम कहते हैं contraction. And during the relaxation they regains their original position. That means during the contraction इनकी जो length होती है वो short में होती है, they slides inwards. उसी को हम कहते हैं contraction. And during the relaxation they slides outwards. उसी को हम कहते हैं relaxation. And during the relaxation they regains their original shape as well as length. And this contraction and relaxation is possible only due to the presence of the actin as well as the myosin filaments. So this is the actin filament and this is the myosin filament. यहाँ पे जो है myosin filament है, that is in between the two actin filaments. तो अब जो ये muscular tissue है इसका जो main काम है contraction and relaxation. और ये contraction and relaxation कैसे दिखाता है? It is because of the position of the contractile filaments called as actin and myosin myofilaments. अब जो ये muscular tissue है it may be either uninucleated or multinucleated. That means एक टिश्यू में, एक मस्कुलर टिश्यू में एक ही न्यूक्लियस होगा, किसी टिश्यू में बहुत सारे न्यूक्लियस होंगे. So accordingly they may be uninucleated or multinucleated. And the plasma membrane of the muscle cells have been termed as sarcolemma, while as their cytoplasm has been termed as sarcoplasm. So it is a brief and a general introduction about the muscular tissue. Now, this muscular tissue, it is classified in the three types. Number first one is the smooth muscular tissue. Number next is the striated muscular tissue, and number third one is the cardiac muscular tissue. Now, let us study them one by one. Positive. Now, now first of all, the smooth muscular tissue. The smooth muscular tissue is also called as unstriated muscular tissue. इसको इसलिए हम कहते हैं स्मूथ मस्कुलर टिश्यू क्योंकि यहाँ पे जो सार्कोप्लाज्म है इट इज स्मूथ और देयर इज एब्सेंस ऑफ स्ट्रेशंस और द बैंड्स. क्योंकि हमने ऑलरेडी डिस्कस किया था ये जो मस्कुलर कनेक्टिव मस्कुलर टिश्यू है इट इज थ्री टाइप्स: स्मूथ मस्कुलर टिश्यू, striated muscular tissue as well as the cardiac muscular tissue. In case of striated muscular tissue, वहां पे जो सार्कोप्लाज्म है there are present some alternate dark and clear bands. कभी कभार dark bands, फिर clear bands, फिर dark bands, likewise the dark bands. Means वहां पे alternatively present होती है dark bands, clear bands, dark bands, clear bands. और इनको हम कहते हैं striations. That is why उस type of the muscular tissue को हम कहते हैं striated muscular tissue. But since here the striations or the dark and the clear bands are absent, that is why ये इनका जो background है, in this case it appears smooth or uniform. That is why this type of the muscular tissue is termed as smooth muscular tissue or the unstriated muscular tissue. Now, this smooth muscular tissue, it consists of cells. Those cells are called as myocytes or muscle fibers. But here the myocytes, these are elongated but spindle in shape. Elongated भी होते हैं, but these are the spindle in shape. Means spindle shape का मतलब क्या है? They have the broad middle portion, while as the ends are pointed or the tapered. उन्हीं cells को हम कहते हैं spindle shaped cells. ये elongated भी है as well as the spindle shape. In addition, here these cells are uninucleated. यहाँ पे एक ही न्यूक्लियस होता है. Now, in this case, the plasma membrane is termed as sarcoplasm, and the cytoplasm is termed as sarcoplasm. अब जो ये sarcoplasm है, in addition to the additional, the remaining organelles, यहाँ पे कुछ dense bodies होती है, proteinaceous bodies. उन बॉडीज को हम कहते हैं डेंस बॉडीज व्हिच आर प्रोटीनिशियस इन नेचर. मींस गोले फली छ आसन अत कुन शाय उन्हीं प्रोटीनिशियस बॉडीज को हम कहते हैं डेंस बॉडीज. एंड दीज डेंस बॉडीज दे एक्ट एज अ एंकर फॉर द एक्टिन फिलामेंट्स. दैट मींस यहां पे ये जो actin filaments, these are attached with the dense bodies. ये जो actin filaments है, these are attached with the dense bodies. That means the dense bodies they anchor the actin filaments. ताकि actin filaments कैसे ओरियोर चलने क्या, they should remain in their proper position. और यहाँ पे जो ये contractile unit है, as you know, the contractile apparatus consists of the actin myofilaments, which are obviously attached with the dense bodies, while as another filament, that is the myosin filament. Those filaments are present in between the actin filaments. और यहाँ पे जो actin filaments है, these are large as well as elongated, much more than the myosin filaments. ये जो myosin filaments है, these are small and narrow as compared to the actin filaments. Means actin filaments बड़े आसन, myosin filaments short आसन. और actin filaments आसन attached with the dense bodies, while as ये जो myosin filaments है, these are three, but are present in between the two actin myofilaments. और ये जो myosin filaments है, they bear some cross bridges. इनके साइड में ब्रांचेस होते हैं. ये जो myosin filaments है, they bears cross bridges or cross branches. इस तरह ब्रांच होते हैं. जो टर्मिनल एंड है ब्रांच का, दैट इज swollen और expanded, उसको हम कहते हैं हेड. और यहां से भी होता है एक्टिन फाइलामेंट, यहां से भी होता है एक्टिन फाइलामेंट, और बीच में होता है मायोसिन फाइलामेंट. And the myosin filaments, they bear the cross bridges or cross branches. The terminal end of the cross branches, they bear the heads, and which stores the ATPs. And the ATPs, they release the energy, and this energy is utilized for the contraction. That means contraction क्या हुई इतना, ये जो actin filaments है, this slides, ये यहां पे चला जाता है, ये यहां पे चला जाता है, तो उसी को हम कहते हैं contraction. And this sliding of the actin filaments, it occurs over the headed portion of the cross bridges of the myosin filaments, so that this portion shortens. जब ये पोर्शन शॉर्ट होगा, लाइकवाइज यहां पे भी कंट्रैक्शन होगा, यहां पे भी कंट्रैक्शन होगा, तो ये पोर्शन शॉर्ट होगा, ये पोर्शन भी शॉर्ट होगा, ये पोर्शन भी शॉर्ट होगा. दैट मीन्स ड्यूरिंग द कंट्रैक्शन a muscle fiber shortens in its length because of the sliding inwards of these actin filaments over the myosin filaments. And for such contraction, energy is required, and that energy is provided by the ATPs, which is present in the head regions of the cross bridges, so that contraction occurs. That means ये जो contraction, it is an active process, it requires the energy. And after the contraction, the actin filaments, they slide us backwards या outwards, उसी को हम कहते हैं relaxation, so that the actin filaments, they regains their own shape. And उसी को हम कहते हैं relaxation. And this relaxation, it is a passive process, it does not require any energy. So this is the mechanism how the contraction and the relaxation occurs by the actin and myosin filaments. And this mechanism of the contraction was explained by a theory that's called as sliding filament theory, proposed by the two scientists, two brother scientists, H.F. Hexley and A.F. Hexley in 1966. They proposed a theory that's called a sliding filament theory. उसका मतलब है ये जो actin and myosin filaments है, they slides over each other, so that contraction and relaxation occurs. उसी को हम कहते हैं sliding filament theory, proposed by these two brother scientists. Now, this smooth muscular tissue, it contracts slowly. It contracts slowly and is never fatigued. Meaning से contraction दिखाता है, contraction करता है, but at low rate, at the rate of 3 to 180 seconds per contraction. That means a contraction करने में time क्या हो, near about 3 to 180 seconds, which is a low speed. But अगर ये contraction rate हम देखेंगे in case of striated muscular tissue or cardiac muscular tissue, in case of cardiac muscular tissue, the contraction rate is near about 0.8 second per contraction. That means cardiac muscular tissue, उसकी जो contraction rate है, that is 0.8 second per contraction. But यहाँ पे contraction rate is very slow. This muscular tissue, it contracts slowly at the rate of 3 to 180 seconds per contraction and is never fatigued. Meaning थकन जमीन. And ये जो smooth muscular tissue है, it is involuntary in nature. उसका मतलब ये हमारे will power में नहीं है. For example, अगर ये जो यहाँ पे muscles है, these are under our control. We can move these fingers because the muscles in our palm, in our hand, in our legs as well as our body wall, this is under our control. इन muscles को हम कह सकते हैं voluntary muscles. But ये जो smooth muscular tissue है, it is involuntary or non-voluntary. It is not under control it is not under our control. Bल्कि it is controlled by the autonomic nervous system. And this smooth muscular tissue, it is present or it occurs in the visceral organs. Visceral organs का मतलब है inner organ, internal organs. Just like the lining or the wall of the blood vessels is made of the smooth muscular tissue. So same thing, likewise, the wall of the alimentary canal, it is made up of the smooth muscular tissue. And likewise, the wall of the fallopian tube as well as the uterus, it is also made up of the smooth muscular tissue or the unstriated muscular tissue. So that means the smooth muscular tissue, it occurs in the wall of blood vessels, the wall of the alimentary canal, as well as the wall of the fallopian tube and the uterus. So it was all about the smooth muscular tissue. Inshallah, in the next lecture, we will discuss the striated muscular tissue. Till then, goodbye and Khuda Hafiz.